Yeah, what's up, everybody? What is going on? Excuse me, a little cheap sound effects. But welcome to the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch under the under the John Konami Facebook page and the Star Six Media Facebook and YouTube page as well. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and also on TikTok as we give you guys all our best sports content throughout the week. Guys, we got a lot to talk about. We really do got a lot to talk about, guys. And I think it's more of excitement. I think what we saw on Saturday for week one, which we're going to talk about majority Bears throughout our program today and how we feel, how excited we feel. Three easy plays, but just the excitement beyond all that from we've seen from Justin Fields and the Bears offense just gives us hope. Obviously, the defense also showed up too as well. Whether you want to take that with a grain of salt or not, depending on um, just depending on what you feel about the defense. Obviously, last preseason they got 8 sacks in total. In one game they got 7 backups, starters. However you want to look at it, just look at it that way. But yeah, we want to know what you guys think. Just let us know right here on the comment section. I will drop the link on here right now as we speak, is for you guys to join me via live, either via message or join us live. But that's all we're going to talk about. That the Bears Crosstown Classic is today too as well. Right now the Sox are leading 3-2 against the Cubs in Wrigley for this weird 2-game series. Again, I don't know why they do this. I don't understand why they do this. Whether you just play 2 games here, as we have our boy Johnny Blasphemy, Johnny Parlay, Johnny, uh, whatever he wants to be called, whatever day out of the week. What's up, John?
What's up, brother? How you feeling, man?
Yeah, just another day, another dollar. We're here to talk about a lot of things. We're about to go into the Bears. Just want to know how the people feel in the chat and everywhere, how they feel about Obviously, it's the first preseason game. I don't think we should kind of like pump the brakes a little bit, right? But it's kind of to get excited to get excited over just 3 or what is it? 7 total plays, 3 for 3 for Justin Fields, but. I mean, I know you over here on the text chain that we got, John. You said the Bears are going to do what?
Group chat, my guy.
Whatever, group chat, text chain, whatever the case may be. I don't care. But the Bears are going to do what now?
Boy, they're winning the division, man. I told you this. I've been told you guys this. Y'all better go to FanDuel, DraftKings, whatever your book is. Take the over in the Bears wins, which is at like 7.5. Take the over in Fields touchdowns, which is like at 17 passing TDs. Take the over in Justin Fields rushing touchdowns, passing yards, everything, man.
Do it. I know, and it is pretty exciting. Don't get me wrong. It looked great, especially how the first touchdown went. A little small screen pass to DJ Moore, but DJ Moore did the rest. But it gave us hope, and it's pretty exciting to see that what this offense can do, for the future and for the NFL season if everybody stays healthy, right? And I found that funny too. I mean, I was right with you even before the whole DJ Moore. Yep. But yeah, obviously after DJ Moore signing, that I think the Bears have a good and possible shot in winning the division. But you said it right away after the first play, huh? You're that confident?
That kind, bro. I was confident before the play, and you know what? Okay, I'll play devil's advocate. When you think about it, like a play like that where more scored on, it kind of inflates Fields' numbers. When for those that didn't watch the game, or even if you did watch the game, but you look at the stats, like. Fields' passing yards is a little bit, inflated, if you want to say, because, you could say, Moore juked a couple guys and some missed tackles, but, yeah. It wasn't like he threw a bomb, It was really like a little short pass and then more, blockers and, let's say, bad defense did the rest of the work, you know what I mean? So that does inflate the numbers, but, you still got to be excited. You're like, yo, we just got Moore. We got Fields, who we're hoping has this amazing year. We know he's good, but we need him to be that guy. We need him to be that franchise quarterback. And it's like you right away have them connecting scoring. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. It's only 3 for 3. It is preseason, but for him and DJ Moore to already be connecting like that is beautiful. It's a beautiful sight. We're hopeful. We here, baby. We here. Division champs. We the kings of the North. Field is the king of the North. Book it.
I mean, it does sound promising. And you're right. King of the North, if you want to book it, we can book it right now, right here on this episode on August the 15th, after preseason one. But you're right. And what Caesar says on here, too, as well, the division looks promising. And I think if you go around every sports book, John, I think everybody has like 8, 7.5, 8.5. I think the Lions are the one with the most with like 9. I don't even think they have the hook with the half game. It just seems like it's pretty difficult to see who is going to come out as the winner for this division simply because it's so wide open now that Aaron Rodgers had left, right? The Lions are everybody's sexy pick, right? But I think the people like us that we see them kind of a lot more throughout the years, right? Twice a year, home and away. We see the Vikings and what they lost, and Jose, he's a Vikings fan now. He thinks that the Vikings still got enough juice to take over the division still and take over, but after what they have lost, obviously, yeah. Look, they lost Dalvin Cook, but Matson's a good backup, right? They still have Justin Jefferson. They have Adam. They have Hawkinson, and that offense looks great. But Kirk Cousins is still that guy, right? That's their quarterback. That's their guy. And you and I both know that he is about as average as they can get. Like, he's right dab at 15, can flirt with 14, 13, 12, but can also flirt with 16, 17, and 18. That's Kirk Cousins, right? In a nutshell. And then we don't know what we get for Jordan Love. So right, the excitement is there for all of us for the Bears to actually come over and take this division as long as they win their games in their division, which might be promising enough or might be even more difficult because of how this team is finally conforming themselves as a decent team for the regular season.
Look, Eric, you brought up Jordan Love, and I'm glad you did because I'm finding it. Frankly, it's pretty disgusting. I'm looking at these odds for the divisions here on FanDuel. They don't usually move. After a couple preseason games, unless there's like some big free agent signings. But it's disrespectful, man. They really got the Bears last as far as they're plus 430. The Packers are plus 350. You mean to tell me Jordan Love has a better chance of winning the division than Justin Fields? That's disrespectful, man. I don't see what Vegas sees. It ain't no Bears hype. I'm not being biased in this. I told you guys last time I think Jordan Love's going to be the weakest quarterback in our division. But even if he's not, you mean to tell me the Packers are going to be better without Aaron Rodgers than who the Bears are now? That's foul, bro. That's foul.
I want to say, and putting it like you just said, in Vegas perspective on how they see it, right? I think they still see the narrative of the Bears was just a 3-win team, a 3-win winning team last season, right? They had the number 1 draft pick last year, right? As for the Packers, I mean, they still think that the defense is still legit. They still have some offensive weapons in Green Bay that can make Jordan Love seem a little bit more, how should I put this, adaptable, I guess you can say, more compatible, more like it's more easier for him to get with these players that have been there, done that with a decent quarterback, or not a decent quarterback, I'm sorry, with a great quarterback of Aaron Rodgers, right? That can make him be decent. I think they still look at Minnesota as the top threat simply because of what they have on offense, right? With Justin Jefferson, I think that's the one that just inflates everything else for the Minnesota Vikings, and the Lions again has been the sexy pick for everybody, not just here, just nationally, right? But the thing is, you're right. Jordan Love is the wild card. Just imagine if he just hits, right. Green Bay gets it right with Jordan Love once again. Or with the quarterback once again. After Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, they get it right with Jordan Love, right? And that's the only reason why the defense is still good enough, and the offense is still somewhat okay with the players that they have around Jordan Love. With the Bears, they're barely coming together. And last year they were the defense, one of the worst defense last year. I think they only got like 20 sacks for the defense. But they finally get the group together that they need. Now they want to gel. And I think that's the only reason why for Vegas, it's a safe bet for the Bears to be last than put the Packers to be last in their eyes, money-wise. But we can see it where it's just like, okay, we know this division more than anybody else. I mean, we could go outside every other division, outside the NFC North, and we're just guessing at this point. At least for us, we know it because we see it, and we see these guys a lot throughout the season. So again, if Vegas wants to, like how you want to put it, free money for putting the Bears at this for plus this much for them to be, first in the division. Cool. I mean, hey, that's great for us, right? Free money. I do want to put a little bit like $10 on the Bears winning the division for the season.
But at least 50 on it.
All right,
Scare
fine,
money don't make
50,
money,
right?
Eric. Put 50.
But again, it's we're I also at the same time we're kind of looking this with Bears goggles on, where it's just like, damn, we're just excited because we finally get the QB1 with the wide receiver number one put together, and it's like, damn, you know what I mean?
We got a tight end one too.
We got exactly. The only thing on offense that had us a little bit worried was the running back, but hell, Khalil Herbert. He even made it, his own effort on that touchdown that he got from Justin Fields. Although it was another screen pass,
I'll take it.
but we'll take it, right? We'll take it. We don't have that ground and run and pound that we did with David Montgomery, who did it all, right? And that's where we're at for the Chicago Bears. Like for the first time, there's optimism, there's excitement, and we saw it on the second play of the preseason where you just dink it to DJ Moore and let him do his thing, and 60 some odd yards later, we're up 7.
Yeah, man, it's definitely, like I said, it's exciting to see those two guys connecting right off the bat. I mean, we got the Bears goggles on, whatever you want to call it, or blinders, biases, but hey, ain't no way we're gonna be worse than the Packers this week. Can't be. They don't even. I'm saying, like, you lose an MVP Hall of Fame quarterback, and you got Jordan Love. Like, I mean, I would classify Jordan Love in like the Trey Lance tier.
Okay.
But I mean, you got to tell me, like, dude, ain't no way you're gonna pick him over Fields, dude. Even if it wasn't a Bears team, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Even if he was with the Lions or with the Vikings, there's no way that you're gonna pick Jordan Love over Justin Fields, and I get that. I understand that. And I think this is also the same conversation we had, 12, 15, 16 years ago, however long it's been since Brett Favre left and Aaron Rodgers took over, the Green Bay Packers. It wasn't all rainbows and sunshine for Aaron Rodgers in his first season as a starter. It takes time with it. So maybe a little after that could possibly happen. Maybe not this year, but possibly next year. But this week is an important week for us, John. And basically for everybody in the NFL. It's the week 2, quote unquote, week 3 of the old preseason format, where I guess everybody in their starters will probably play a majority of the first half or the first quarter at least, just to get that little dry run for that preparation for the regular season, should I say. We're going to see a lot more of Justin Fields in that offense. We're going to see a lot more of Justin Fields and hopefully a lot of DJ Moore. I know the Bears are going to go down to Indianapolis this week to train, to have that joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts. So the real question is now that week 2 is the dress rehearsal now for preseason. What are you more excited to see? Are you still excited to see more of Justin Fields, DJ Moore, or we're going to switch sides because the defense also had a game on Saturday too as well, getting 7 sacks in one game, right? Whether you want to call it with backups or not, it's your discretion. But last preseason they had eight sacks in total. They almost matched that in just one game. Are you still excited to see Justin Fields in the Bears offense, or are you excited to see what this Bears defense can actually bring?
You know what? I'm gonna save my judging the defense until actual important games start, till the regular season starts. But right now, I'm all on the Fields train, baby. Give me the Fields to more hype train. I'm the fucking conductor of that shit, man. Come on, give me it. I want to see more of that shit. I mean, realistically though, like you look at it as far as like look around the league. All these preseason games, like rarely do you see hype. To see the defense. You know what I'm saying? Like even back in 2018 when following 2018, I should say, 2019 with the Bears D, like, I mean, yeah, we were, back when we had an elite defense, we weren't excited to see this elite defense. In the preseason, we're just like, fuck it, rest everybody at that point. We want to see offense, and that's what I'm saying, like, back to what I was saying about you look around the league, people want to see what does Rodgers do with his new offense? What's Russell Wilson going to do with the new coach in this offense? You know what I'm saying? So, damn it, I do want to see, how's Fields looking with this offense as his new wide receiver 1. And everybody else, is Mooney going to be better as a 2 now? Because he failed as a 1. Cole Kmet might be above Mooney now in terms of targets. We got to wait to see that. I'm definitely more excited for offense.
That's a pretty interesting take, and I get where you're coming from about Cole Kmet being over Darnell Mooney right after Mooney being
Yep.
hurt last season, and his explosion of his production offensively towards the tail end of the season, which got me into a fantasy football league final. But we don't talk about that right now, right? We're not going to talk about that. Um,
Stupid.
but I want to say, I don't want to sound like the very old school guy, right? I don't want to sound like I'm that guy going, oh, well, defense, the black and blue division, and so on and so forth. But the defense did surprise me, though. The defense did surprise me how they got to the quarterback, and the defense that was struggling to get to the quarterback last year, right? And I will go on and I will say this: after seeing that defense yesterday, I want to say that secondary is probably the Bears' strength at the moment with the defensive backs, with Johnson, with Brisker, with Gordon, and obviously you get the linemen with Edwards and Edmonds and two as well this offseason. Like that Bears defense, that secondary is pretty scary, and it might be one of the best. Even again, I don't know Bears goggles, whatever, but the Bears have a shot to have kind of one of the best secondary in this
Ooh.
league if the defensive front hold their end. And when I saw them attack, especially now getting Ngakwe in this defense, it may be possibly that the Bears' bread and butter, even with all this addition in this offense, is going to be that defense and that defensive front in the secondary, man. And again, maybe it's the first preseason. Maybe it's just I'm excited to see football. I
Yeah.
don't know what it was, man, but that defense impressed me. Again, backups and a little bit of the starters, but for them to get 7 sacks in one game, we barely struggled to get 7 sacks in the first 12 games of the season last year. And I know I'm just stretching it right there with the 20, but I'm just saying, man, the Bears defense, it's known. The Bears are known for defense, man, and it's coming back slowly but surely, especially with Eberflus at the helm.
So
So,
Eric, real quick, would you you feel confident to start posting hashtag Monsters of the Midway are back? Or we not there yet?
I,
Are you going to be the conductor of this defensive hype train, or what's
bro,
going
I
on
think I
here?
might, low key. I think I might, man. I'm not gonna
Hey, one
lie.
of us have to be.
They impressed me, man. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say what I saw from what Justin Fields in the offense on Saturday was impressive, even though it was just three passes and some small plays here and there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say I was excited for it. Obviously, the first touchdown pass to DJ Moore got me hyped, right? But man, something about that defense and the Bears and defense just goes great with each other. And if you have an offense that can just bring up that level with the defense, and the defense could kind of match it, bro. I'm sorry, man. I think I'm gonna be that conductor for that defense, man, because it,
Hey.
it just it brought me like, yes, this is the Bears defense that I really wanted to see, or I want to see come through week in and week out. You know what I mean? Especially those we got 3 Thursday night football games, man. Defense travels, and if this defense shows up, it gives the Bears offense an opportunity to win those quick games. And also, like I said, I got 3 road games or 3 games in general that the defense needs to step up. And if I can see that, bro, oof, I'm
Let me.
telling you, I think I'm gonna start going back on my Twitter and start tweeting. Or my bad, not Twitter, X.
We got
I gotta
X.
go back to my X app and just start tweeting Monsters of the Midway, hashtag Monsters of the Midway. The defense is back, bro.
Do it,
Because
man.
man, dude, I
Do it
know.
after the show. Do it after the show. Start it.
Right, do it after the show. But I needed to see them do it again. But you're right. I'm with you as well. I need them to do this again on a regular season. I need the defense to do this at 3:25 on Sunday, week 1 of the NFL season against the Green Bay Packers in the Lakefront. Which tickets are still available if you want to
Can you
go. I'm just saying.
can you imagine 7 sacks on Jordan Love week 1?
Bro, I think I'm just.
Man,
I think I normally don't do this, but I think I'm just gonna smoke a cigarette after if I felt like I
man.
just got later when I just. Eh, that's how good of a feeling it's gonna be sacking Jordan Love 7 times and just beating the Packers week 1.
Yep,
I think that's what we all want, right? I
it's
think
gonna
that's what we're
happen,
all
bro.
dreaming.
It's gonna happen.
I hope it happens. I
We're gonna
really
take the
do hope
dub.
it
We're gonna take
happens.
the dub. I don't know about 7 sacks, but we'll take the dub and we'll sack him a couple times.
Man, I'm good with 3 or 4 sacks throughout the game with a dub too as well. I don't care. I just need to see that consistent pressure. But again, man, I feel like we also have to pump the brakes just a little bit because it's preseason, man. Like that's the thing. And like I don't want to like pour cold water on this fire that we got going on that we got starting, but it's just only the week one of the preseason when it, like you just said, it kind of really doesn't matter. Like
Right.
we shouldn't be this excited for just a few plays and a few sacks from this team that we know they were hot
Literally.
garbage last year. Three
Right.
wins. But does that give us a little bit of like the benefit of doubt to just celebrate a little bit week one preseason on how they performed?
It absolutely does, man. I get it. I get it because you can definitely be like, all right, man. There's only 3 passes. Pump the brakes. Inflated numbers. But man, it's like, nah, man, fuck that, bro. Like you said, we only won 3 games last year. Like the hype is real, man. Let's be happy. I mean, even if the Bears finish at 500, I'm cool with that. I mean, I might not be cool with that, but I'm cool with that.
And nah, man, you got to be cool with that, bro. If the Bears finish at or around, I mean, they can't win 500. They have to be below
Right.
or above
Right.
500. There's no even number, right?
Well, at least one game below 500 is still cool compared to what we had last year. But it also
Cool,
depends
bro.
like
That's an amazing feat.
how does the season play out? Like was it like one possession loss games, heartbreak games, blowouts? That varies too. But as far as preseason hype is justified, absolutely.
Yeah, but again, just let me cold water, right? It's cold water, bro. We need to calm this down, bro. And we're gonna see a good amount of it on Saturday, which I'm just excited to go see, right? My brother said he may or may not go to this game just to go watch, Justin Fields in Indy, right? Because he lives down in Indy. So he's excited to see Justin Fields, and he's actually going to see a good chunk of Justin Fields in that offense, which I really do feel like we need to see them more in this game. Like if you were the head coach, if Eberflus were head coach of the Chicago Bears, how long would you keep that first team out there? Like just the whole entire first quarter, and a little bit of the second quarter, or just the same, just 3 series, and then just call it a day. I'm ready. You frozen?
Okay.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. My bad.
I
uh,
said, how long would you keep the Bears offense or the first team out there this Saturday against the Packers in the dress rehearsal for the season? A quarter, 2 quarters, a quarter and a half, a few
I mean, I
series.
I honestly want to see at least 2 quarters because I imagine that the third game will probably only be 1 quarter, if that, because that's technically
Yeah,
their
if
last
that.
game, right? Because they don't do four no more. So I
Yeah,
mean,
they
at
only do
least
three.
at least give me 2 quarters, man. I mean, give the people their money's worth. This is I get it. It's preseason, but then all these starters, you pretty much know who's going to start by now, and they're going to get a good amount of break and rest before week one. So it's like, why not, man? Let them get some real game time action. At least 2 quarters, man.
A quarter and a half sounds good to me. But you're right. If we could get 2 quarters, if the Bears somehow get that the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, if they get to that 2 minute drill, I think that should be great. I think that will be perfect for the Chicago Bears and that offense on what they need to do. But you're right, just rehearsal, man. Man, dude, I just need the season to start already, man. Because I swear
Man,
that after Saturday,
it's a
bro,
tease,
I
bro.
was pumped, man. My Twitter was already up and going, ready to like I
Yes.
already had Twitter fingers.
Yeah, man. It's free smoke for all the Packers fans, Lions fans, and Vikings fans.
So John said it here on the JCA Sports Podcast here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, guys. Make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms, on our Instagram, on our TikToks, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. All of us under the Star Six Media Productions app. John said that the Bears are going to be winning the NFC North. I think we're going to put our odds too on who's going to win all our divisions, like we did last year, or at least Jose did last year. Probably on next week's episode when the season is right around the corner. I mean, I'm just excited. I just need the season to come right and going. And I know Duffman is going to choose either DJ Moore or Justin Fields as his number one pick for our fantasy draft in a couple weeks with you, John. So
Man, it's kind of looking like you might do the Bears defense first. You might be that guy to pull the trigger
no,
first on defense.
I mean if they fall pretty late, I think I will pick them up. But nah. I won't be the first one picking defense, and it
You
won't
know
be the
what?
Bears.
I've done a couple mock drafts, and I've been seeing Fields go before Moore, and Moore still goes pretty late. But you already know, like us being here with Chicago and Indiana, Northwest Indiana guys,
Yeah.
residents ain't no way like Fields and Moore are gonna drop late. Komet's probably not gonna drop late. Probably Mooney would be like the last Bear to be picked. But nah, man, ain't no way. Ain't no way that Fields and Moore are gonna be sleepers.
Nah, they'll
Especially around
definitely be
Bears
gone by
Nation.
like both of them together.
I think
I think will
by
probably
the
be gone
fifth.
by like the fourth round. There's
You're
somebody
probably right. You're probably right. By the fourth.
there's somebody, Duff man, that will pick DJ Moore and Justin Fields probably in the first 3 rounds.
Man, I might jump on that train too, bro. Hey, if someone takes one of those guys first, I'm taking the other guy right after. I gotta do it. I gotta do it.
It's going to be an interesting one this year for fantasy football. That's for sure. Not only because like again we have the hype for the Chicago Bears, but that has a lot to do with it too. Because finally we probably have a team that can probably produce
Yup.
this season on possibly both sides of the ball. There hopefully we could just get average numbers, and by average I mean top 15 in the NFL, both offense and defense can take you a long way. So we'll be excited about that next week. We're definitely going to get more into the Bears Colts and see what we like, what we don't like, what the Bears or what the Bears need to do, and obviously just preparing for the regular season. More talk about the Chicago Bears, the moves that they make. Obviously, there's a lot more Bears news out there. Nate Davis finally talked to the press about him actually finally practicing, coming back to the team after him being out for a while, and a lot of people speculated why he was out for a while. Was it injury? Was it personal? There's also reports coming from the Tennessee camp that he really never liked to practice. And that was one thing that was kind of weary for all us Bears fans, simply because he was basically our first free agent signing this past offseason and for the offensive line for the Chicago Bears. And obviously, everybody says the continuity for the offensive line has to be like one. They have to be in sync. Do you, John? Do you feel like with Nate Davis barely practicing now, is it a cause for concern, or you really don't care as long as he shows up on Sundays, plays well, and keeps Justin Fields standing tall? That's all that matters for you at the end of the day.
Man, you probably took the words out of my mouth. I really don't. I don't think it's a big deal. It's preseason. There's still plenty of time for week one. Like I said, by now we know who's going to start, who's not going to start. As long as he shows up every Sunday when the season starts, we're good, man. That's how I see it.
Yeah, but and I get it. A lot of people have all these questions and concerns simply because of the amount of money that we dropped on the guy, right? The amount of money that we got on dude who's only been in the league 5, 6, 7 years, and just that alone gave this feeling that maybe he wasn't is or isn't worth the money. But if he comes out and performs on Sunday, I think that's great too as well. I think I'm with you too as well, John. It's plain and simple. Dude shows up on every Sunday, keeps Justin Fields standing tall, keeps Justin Fields in the pocket. Getting that lanes for the running backs and even possibly even Justin Fields. I think we're good. I think this is just being blown out of proportion simply because of the amount of money that we have given Nate Davis to project Justin Fields as a guard. Um, Also, news came out yesterday as well. Our president, Warren, damn, why did I forget? I just had his name right now, and I just forgot. But I'm just going to call him President Warren right now for the moment. Also came out and gave us a little bit more of a clarity about the new stadium for Soldier or the new stadium for the Bears in the near future. But it doesn't look like that the Chicago Bears are going to move to Arlington Heights. I think they're going to explore, the city a little bit, keep it in Chicago, keep it in the lakefront. I don't think Soldier Field is no longer a destination. I think they just want to get out of there. That lot in Arlington Heights is still out there. Naperville came out, Joliet came out. Um, but he literally put a stop into it, saying that we're not going to revisit this for another 12 months. Are you worried that the Bears are not going to get out of Soldier Field soon enough? Is this no big deal for you, John? Is it still going to be Arlington Heights, or do you want to put it in our old backyard? Right there where the Marianos was supposed to be at on 80, whatever it is, and have the Bears come closer to home, literally home.
Bro, that'd be so foul to put him over there where Omar Hell's going to be. But hey, I'll take that over Arlington Heights. That's for sure.
It's right in your backyard for real.
I swear. But you know what? When you look at it, look at last year. or even the beginning of this year, how much time we spent just discussing Arlington Heights. Now, granted, it probably was a little bit because the Bears were so bad that like we don't want to talk about
That's true.
the losses every week. But I kind of like that he said, we're not gonna address this. Like it just shows like let's focus on the season. We I'm sure they know, everybody knows as far as they by Bears fans know there's hype this year. There's excitement. So like yeah, let's put that on hold. The Arlington Heights and not nonsense. Soldier Field too, because a lot of people still want them to stay. I'm one of those people. I see on the Twitter,
You
or
foul for
not
that.
Twitter, on the X. I mean, hey, if they were, I know this won't happen, but if they were to do renovations on it, I'm all for it. But they would build a new stadium by the old Marianos before they even touch Soldier Field. Um,
They will probably build at Mariano's before they
bro, I
renovate
swear to
Soldier Field.
God, dude, it's just like man, it's like Wrigley, You're not
Yeah.
you're not gonna
Yeah.
touch that. You're not gonna touch it. But
Right, and the fact of the matter is that they failed to see that vision or whatever they did. What was this back in 2003 or 2002?
mm-hmm.
However long it was that they remodeled Soldier Field. The fact that they didn't do their due diligence in how to make this stadium a lot more better, state of the art at that time, at least, um, is just mind boggling, right? And you said like renovate Soldier Field, but we're still gonna have the same problems. How are we gonna get there? How are you gonna get out if you drive to Soldier Field? Because a lot of people drive. A lot of people do that tailgating. It's very small. I don't tailgate for the Bears. I've only been to one Bears games, and I took South Shore. I took the train. I walked my happy ass to Soldier Field and walked my happy ass back to the train station. Right. But I've been to a lot of I can't say a lot, but I've been to plenty of tailgating for the Selección Mexicana when they played at Soldier Field. And it is I'm not and it's a bitch and a half to get out of that stadium because there's only two ways. You either go south or you either go north. You can't go east because you're gonna be drowning in Lake Michigan. And you can't go west because you're gonna be either getting ran over by the metro or the South Shore or you're gonna hit some buildings. So your only way is east and west. And getting out of there, that light that's right there by the Field Museum, it's even crazier and even more crazier if you're just trying to go all over the place. And I know it, and I get it, and I hear everybody that wants to keep Chicago or keeps the Bears in Chicago, keep the Bears in downtown Chicago, and I get that, and you're right because everybody said, but look at that view, look at the skyline, look at this, look at that, by the lake, by all this. That's all fine and grand and dandy and all, John, but at the same time, it's just like the headache that we're all going to get. Imagine a Sunday night game where the game's at like 10 something. You get out at 10 something from Soldier Field, you're driving. You're really, really not going to get out and get home almost damn near till midnight.
That's true, but you better have that day off Monday already. That call out that vacation day already called off. Shoot.
I mean, but
I
you're
hear
right
what you're
though. Like
saying,
you're right.
bro.
You have to prepare for that. Like,
Yeah.
but no, like I would I love it for them to stay in downtown Chicago. Hell yeah. I think we have, if not the best skyline view of a city in any major city
Mm-hmm.
across the United States and probably damn near, the entire world. And that's just not me being biased society. You tell people that are coming from the outside, they'll say the same damn thing too as well. But also we as fans, we have to consume everything after that too as well. We have to consume that. Or how are we going to get there? How are we going to get back? Are we
Oh
going to go to
yeah.
and getting out of
Like
Soldier Field? Yeah, getting out via parking or via train or even Uber. It's going to be a bitch and a
even
half
Uber
to get
sucks.
out. So again, I rather have that lot that's right there where the Marianos was supposed to be at by 87th, and that probably be a little bit better because you could do whatever you want. But the Bears, as much as I need to say this, the one thing that's for sure that they're going to make a dome. That's the one thing
They
that's
have to.
that's for sure set in stone when they build this new stadium, wherever it is at. That it's going to be a dome. So we're going to have indoor games from here on out, and that's because of other events that Kevin Warren, there you go, I found his name. President Kevin Warren decided to say that he wants to have other things in the stadium too as well. So it's a little bit more of, I think he's doing it for himself instead of thinking about the team. I think Kevin Warren is doing this so he can have more time to actually sit back, relax, and look at the bigger picture at many different areas. Or if it's still going to be Arlington Heights, then screw it, it's Arlington Heights. I really don't give a damn. But I think he's taking the bigger pictures. Like, how can this stadium be good for the next 15, 20, 30, 40 years? instead of
50.
being this stadium that's good for this time being like it is Soldier Field. Because come on now, and that stadium is just ass. And I know you've been there plenty of times. I know I have. After,
Yeah.
I mean, the only time I've been there is after the remodel. I've never been in old Soldier Field, but even after the remodel for Soldier Field, bro, like it's not all that great.
No, it's not all great. To be honest, it looks better when you see the news reporting. They got the weather helicopter going over the lake and Navy Pier. You see little Soldier Field right there. That's where it
Yeah,
looks the most beautiful. Or at nighttime when you're driving down Lakeshore, all the lights lit up. But
yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, I've been to a couple Bears games. I haven't been to a Sunday night game there, but I definitely would not be sober enough to sit in about 2 hours of traffic to get home. That I can tell you will not happen. But to be that guy, Eric, to be that guy. I know he said you're not gonna address this to another 12 months, but I mean, with all the hype of the Bears, and then the Bears just being the Bears, they ain't gonna lose no money. It's not like fans are gonna stop going because of the commute. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. And especially now this season where all the hype is
Right.
there, barring injury, right?
Barring injury,
Barring
right?
injury to Justin
Come on,
Fields
man.
or DJ Moore, anybody like that of importance, right? Like the hype of this team is at an all time high right now. That you're right. People are still gonna go. People are gonna be at that 325 game on Sunday against the Packers. People are gonna go see the Packers play and the Bears play week
Yep.
one. People are still going to go eat. People are still going to drink. People are still going to tailgate. People are still going to waste their money there. People are still going to do
Hey,
this, still going to do that. Blah, blah,
people.
the whole nine, right? But I think that it's still money lost for the Chicago Bears at that point as well because they don't get the full share. They still have to lease that stadium. They still give that money that they make a certain percentage to the city of Chicago for game days. So you're talking about eight. They only get like 8 or 9 game days at home, anyways, at this point. So like the percentage that they lose to give that money to the city within those 8 games, like they have it's a big share that they give, right? Instead of the 3, 4, 5, 6% that the Bears could give to the city of Arlington Heights or Naperville or Bolingbrook or whatever the place may be, even the Mariano's right there in 87th, like the money can still go into the city or to the district area to support and help, the Chicago Bears own financially to have all this other stuff. And I get it. It's a long way to go, but at least there's some clarity that I think the one thing that I got excited about that this next stadium is going to be a dome no matter what.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's retractable, but we're getting a dome
Ooh.
for the new stadium. We just don't know where it's at. So I'm excited for that one. Kevin Warren just came on and said that yesterday in this presser. So, or not yesterday, not in a presser, with Peter King, a Monday morning quarterback, in that conversation that he had. So it looks like the Bears' future is up and up from here, John. It's just up and up from here.
Absolutely, baby. Absolutely.
Bears winning the North, according to John here on the JCA
King
Sports
of the North.
Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, under the John Konabi Facebook page, and also the Star Six Media Production. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok under the Star Six Media Production. John, we're gonna end the show a little bit, but the Crosstown series is on right now as we speak. Is it still 3-2 White Sox?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is
3-2 White Sox here. Um,
in the fourth. Still
in the
early.
fourth inning in Wrigley, the North Side edition of the Crosstown series. Again, the series which I still don't understand why it's only 2 games.
That's
I
terrible.
still don't understand why they can't make it a 3-game series. But it be what it be, man. And right now we didn't have a show last week, and last week was actually some crazy news coming out from the White Sox camp, bro. And I want to get your opinion on what you heard on everything that's been happening on the White Sox, man. Starting with Middleton. Is it Middleton, the one for the Yankees, right?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
came out and
Middleton.
said whatever he said to Jesse Rogers in that report from ESPN that the clubhouse was just kind of lack of better words, a toxic environment. There was no leadership in this clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
He was glad he left, and it's a whole different environment from when it was from the White Sox to the Yankees, man. And Lance Lynn kind of backed him up a little bit. He said, "All right, I'm gonna tell you what was wrong with what Middleton said," and all he said was nothing.
Silence.
Silence, bro. Silence. So tell me how you feel. It was 3-3 now with a home
Yeah.
run from Suzuki from Seiya. Hey man, what's tell me how do you feel, man? What about this news that came out about the Sox?
Man, it's pretty. At this point, the season's laughable. I mean, granted that is embarrassing to hear. And then for even like guys like Lance Lynn to back it up, like these are veterans. You know, they've been around the league. So I mean, the first thing I thought of was they're missing Abreu. I feel like if Abreu was still here, you never let that shit slide. Rookies falling asleep, you know. And I feel like, I mean, I haven't heard this, but I have seen like reports that like Tim Anderson's kind of been like, you know, away from like the team. You know, he's not. So someone said that like he's in the corner and the clubhouse. Like he moved his belongings to like a corner locker, which is kind of weird to, if you think about it, because you would think like TA was that guy last year. He's at least the clubhouse leader, unofficial captain. I mean, I feel like the Sox don't really have a leader or a captain like they did when Abreu was here, when Konerko was here. You know, this year it's just been a shit show. It's worse than a fucking CPS JV team. But I really feel like
CPS JV team, bro.
I mean, just kind of being that guy, you know, putting two and two together. My own speculation. I feel like maybe TA did try to speak up, and then like someone probably treated his ass for what's been going on with him off the field. And then if you got a new coach that's just trying to be like, hey, I'm your friend kind of guy, you know, I'm your boss, but I'm your friend. And then if you have Jerry above it, because I hear this is from before Pedro got hired. These are problems that carried over last year. So if you got the owners, you know, not giving a fuck about how the clubhouse is acting, then it's like it don't matter who you bring in. And if you got one guy trying to speak up and everybody else is probably like, shut the fuck up, worry about your own problems. I mean, why should the veterans care, you know? Why should Lance Lynn, who just came from representing Team USA, he knows what he brings to the table, and he's like, you know what, if we're not doing good, I'm going to request a trade. I could do that. And sure enough, that's what he did. That's what Middleton did. And even Middleton said, like, hey, I got traded to New York, and I knew right away when they told me I was traded, the first thing I did was shave my beard because they don't allow facial hair. He said, granted, he didn't want to, but he's like, I know what I have to do to play, and that's big, you know. Like that's how it should be, you know. Granted, whether you agree with the rule or not of no facial hair in New York, it is how it is. Like, do you want to play? You want a job? You gotta listen, and there's no excuse. Yeah, there's no excuse for players falling asleep, rookies at that, missing practices, missing meetings, like that. Just at that point, it's there's no culture. Like you said, for lack of a better term, toxic environment. But it's pathetic, dude. I mean, we probably see like teams in the Little League World Series more disciplined than the White Sox have been, according to Middleton and
Lynn. And I don't mean to laugh, right? And obviously, you know, I have we have our own thing. Cubs fans over here, you being the Sox fans, right? And it's funny that you mentioned that too as well, and it's a good thing that you brought it up. That it was Jose Abreu. If he was still on this team, there would have been some type of discipline in that culture. But man, there was also sources even around that time, even recently, a couple weeks too as well, stories and sources that came out saying that even if Jose Abreu was still on this team, it would have made a difference. They were saying that, you know, Jose Abreu isn't that leader that we or you guys as Sox fans and everybody out here in the national media would have thought that he came out to be. He wasn't that guy, quote unquote, what some people had said. Whether all of it is true or not, man, it is crazy. Whether what's going on now and what's happening with the Chicago White Sox, it shouldn't be as a surprise simply because apparently it's been, like you said, it's been going on since last year, right? Obviously, there was a report that came out that Yasmani Grandal and TA got into a fight or something like that, and I think it was Yasmani that kind of shut down that speculation, but even then, so bro, like for all of that to still come out in this environment, and yet you still have the same people that you're supposed to bring you this championship run or experience or even playoff experience, are also the same people, or it is the same people that haven't really been doing anything. And a lot of people have been speculating that that's what happens when you give these players money before they even prove anything, because you take out their motivation in playing. A la Eloy Jimenez, a la Luis Robert. But Luis Robert has been performing a little bit more. TA, how he just had a fall from grace somehow for like in a year and a half, just this fall from grace. I don't think he still even hasn't hit a home run in over a year.
No, he got his first homer.
Did he? Oh,
But
see, look
he
at that.
has
News
had a
for me.
bad
Newsflash. Breaking
he has
news.
had a bad year. You know, oh yeah, he he hit his first homer the same week that he got knocked out by Ramirez.
That's another crazy thing, bro. Just getting knocked out and the game's like nothing. Legs all wobbly, just took it in the chin.
Yo, last chin Tim. Yes.
It's just,
You know what, Eric? I know if Jose was on here, he's gonna fucking roast me. I don't even know if he's watching us. I think he's caught at work. If they never fired Ricky and he was still here today, I think we'd be in playoff contention.
I told you this.
We would be we'd be a totally different team. Mind you, we did lose. I stand by what I said. We lost that playoff series because of Ricky's inexperience. But I feel like looking back at it, because we both agreed Ricky built the Cubs championship team.
100%.
Those are his pieces.
Yes, sir.
And Ricky was doing that with the Sox, and you saw the culture. Like everybody was behind the Ricky's boys don't quit. They embraced that feeling.
100%.
The culture was great. I guess these boys, you could call them, wouldn't be acting the way they are if Ricky was still here.
I mean, look, I told you guys when this happened. I said
I don't think we would have won a World Series yet if Ricky was still here.
no, definitely not. But I think it would have.
Contention.
Yeah, playoff contention for sure. And I told you this 2 years ago, John, that the hiring of Tony La Russa was a bad decision. Like, and I get it, Hall of Fame coach. You gave me all the spiel of what Tony La Russa was.
Hire. Not even resume. He hired that's his buddy, but the resume
right. And I get that. And supposedly they ended wrong years ago when he first was the manager of the Chicago White Sox. And I get the whole spiel. I get it. I get that. I understand that. But you're talking about a guy who hasn't coached or managed a baseball team in over 10 plus years. He was running in the organization business. He was just up there sitting in the box chairs looking like this, scouting players and looking what else he needed to do. He wasn't on the field, bro. And the fact that, and I get it. Look, Rick Renteria got fired for Joe Madden. Okay, we know how that happened. All right, we know how that ended. But the difference between Ricky getting fired for Joe Madden from Ricky getting fired for Tony La Russa is Joe Madden was still managing from the Los Angeles Angels at that time. He just finished getting fired from the Los Angeles Angels. Tony La Russa was in the front office of, I think it was the Oakland Athletics, to come down and coach them.
I thought it was the D-backs.
Or the D-backs or the Marlins. He was just in the front office somewhere. He wasn't in the full uniform like he was a couple years ago. And I told you guys that was a bad hiring.
He was playing golf in his office when Jerry called.
There you go. He was working on his putt, bro. He had the little chip machine right there on his office, bro. Granted, he won 90 games the first season, and I think you guys won 500 his last season there. Yep. But I think he set the team back. He set the White Sox back. I want to say 4 or 5 years.
Would you say it was him, or would you say it's Jerry that set the team back at that
point? Can it be like 60-40 Tony and Jerry? Can it be?
I'd put it the other way. I'd put it 60 Jerry, 40 Tony. Because at the end of the day, like you can't blame your boss because he got hired by the guy you hate. You know what I mean? Like let's say you hate your GM of your store, and he brings in a new store manager that you don't agree with. It's still you're gonna hate your boss, but you're gonna hate his boss more because you already hated him from the jump.
But to that point though, like how you said, the reason why I say 60-40, it's more Tony, is because there was reports that everybody loved Tony La Russa. Everybody in that clubhouse embraced Tony La Russa. Everybody was behind Tony La Russa and this and that. And he, let's be completely honest, he had everything kind of set up for him that all you had to do is just do this right, get these players to get motivated, come in every day, and do whatever you need to do to make this team successful. And he he got into the playoffs. Great. I think Ricky was the one that sent them to the playoffs in that COVID year, correct? Right?
Yeah, Ricky got him in the playoffs.
And then the following year, Tony got him in the playoffs.
Gave us the loss against the A's.
Yeah.
But then Tony got us in the playoffs, and then, I mean, rightfully so, we lost to the Astros. I mean, the Astros have been a dynasty so far. But
yeah.
Even I mean, they still are. I'm just saying, like, I think it's more to blame Jerry. And I mean, the clubhouse is acting up. I mean, they're acting like a bunch of, like I said, man, they're acting worse than worse than a JV, CPS team, bro. There's just no. It's crazy. It's crazy to hear that you would hear that from a professional baseball team, guys making millions, that they're behaving like that. Just like wow.
It's mind-boggling, but at the same time, it's not surprising because, as we all know, you and I who played sports, obviously two different sports, but we've been in that sports environment or that team environment that egos does do something to a team. And when the
Absolutely.
egos have already been up there high and mighty, and you can't really bring them down, it does bring, depending on the manager or depending on the coach, it takes a lot for that coach to control that egotistical player to come and do whatever you need to do and actually listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
To what the manager is saying. Bobby over here, welcome to the show. Bobby, thank you for following us and watching us. He's saying that the past three managers, there has been zero accountability. That is why the culture in the clubhouse suffers because there is no voice to be heard.
What's
And
up,
he's
Coach
absolutely.
Bobby? Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
eh, eh,
He's
I
right.
mean, was
He's
there
right.
really zero accountability with Ricky Renteria? I mean, he kind of got like a little short stint. I don't know. I don't know if it's zero accountability with him, but it was kind of a short stint with Ricky Renteria.
Man, it was a really short stint, and we all said it. It's unfair to Ricky. It's unfair to Ricky. He deserves to be with the team. You know, during like building the dynasty. Um, but I do think it's been zero accountability because it's just been a short leash for everybody. You know what I mean? And I feel like what didn't LaRusso step down because of health issues. I mean, he did have his health issues, but that was the
I
why
mean,
he
I think
stepped
he
down.
fell asleep because he had sleep apnea, bro,
Hey,
falling asleep
it's
during games in the
man,
first inning. But yes, health issues is one of the reasons
health
why.
issues. So I mean, if he was healthy, he'd probably still be the manager now. He finishes his contract. I feel like he
I
signed
honestly,
for.
well, you're probably right because loyalty does mean a lot to Jerry. And even though, let's say, if the White Sox still had the same record with Tony La Russa, I think we would have a whole different conversation on the players' aspects and on what on Tony's and all of this. Bobby goes on saying now with Grifol, it's the same narrative, no accountability. The team came out in spring training with no new sense of urgency. I mean, hell, I think they were done by the season. I think what the middle of April. I think when they won 7-20 or something like that.
Yeah, man, it was bad. There's no accountability, and you got people that don't even respect the coach, which is sad. The
That's
players don't
crazy. It's
respect the coach, and
crazy.
it's like
It is.
it's
It is absolutely mind boggling on how where like we had this conversation when we first started doing this podcast, just under John Konavi before we got on the Star Six media, that we said, I mean, we saw the blow up of the Cubs, we saw this and that. We said that this championship window for the White Sox, we all chose the White Sox at some point in our shows that either A, to go to the World Series or being the next team to win a championship. And now it's just kind of falling flat on our faces, honestly. And I'm one of them, and I think I want to give myself a pat on the back over here to jinxing the White Sox last year and picking them, but not doing anything. But that's neither here nor there. But it's crazy how it has fallen. I mean, injuries are one. The accountability of the managers, two. The toxicity in going around that clubhouse. Whether if you want to blame TA or Eloy or whoever wants to be around that, all the mess that's been going around, dude. It is crazy to see that this team just literally blew up in front of our faces,
mhm.
and well, in your guys' faces, but I mean, obviously us as sports fans blew up in front of our faces with really nothing to show for other than just hype for the MVP year for Jose Abreu, the batting title for Tim Anderson, and that Cy Young um, season from Dylan Cease last year.
Yep,
And that's
Saya
literally
contention.
all we got was just another hype, another Neymar to be all hype and nothing to show for.
Oh, that's foul.
That's you heard about
That's
his new
another show.
contract with the
That's another
Saudi
show,
Arabia League,
Aaron.
right?
That's another show. I heard
Bro,
about it.
oh,
That's another show. You
I,
tell
I
me to
got
talk
I got
more
a
about
lot to
soccer
say
than
about
Ricky.
that one, but yes, it's that's what it was, all hype, and it's unfortunately that's how it ended for the Chicago White Sox. Bobby also goes
Yeah,
and say when Abreu was interviewed in Houston, he admitted that the clubhouse was fractured, see, this is
he
what
did.
I was I
He
was, I
did.
was
I
aiming for
forgot.
because I think even like you said, if he was still in this team, that it would have been somewhat a little bit more structured. But I honestly, like I said, I heard the reports, I heard stories. I always hear sports talks radio, and they said that Jose Abreu wasn't really that quote unquote leader that you guys as Sox fans thought he was supposed to be or supposed that he
Right.
was.
I think Eric, to that point, I think it has to do with the age that Abreu was when the Sox got him. I mean, they signed him while he was hot, known as a Cuban international player. I believe he was 28 years old, and it's like versus like you look at a guy like, let's say Luis Robert, 5 years from now, hopefully still with the Sox. I mean, you're gonna view that guy as a true leader of the team because he's been with the team since he was young. You know what I mean? But even like compared to what Anthony Rizzo was to the Cubs, he was there during the dog days. They still got him when he was
Definitely.
young. He Abreu won the hearts of the fans, but with so much switching, shitty managers, shitty players. I mean, I guess it is really hard for a team to come in and just view Abreu as the true leader of the clubhouse. It's like, who the fuck are you? Like, you know what I mean? But to Bobby's point, Abreu did throw shade when he did get to Houston. I think it was something related like a car. I'm trying to think of the word. He says something like like a really like going from Chicago to Houston was like going from a piece of shit car to a fancy car. I can't think of the exact terms he said, but he definitely threw shots at the Sox organization. I mean,
that's a perfect way to put it.
No, he did. I gotta find it. I'll find it. But he definitely.
That is crazy, man. But that's kind of crazy.
And it was hurtful because it's like, this is Abreu. This is our guy. It's our MVP. There's our MVP coming at us.
That's the guy that's been with you for thick and thin.
Yeah.
He also goes and says, but in the biggest spectrum away from the players, this whole organization foundation that is toxic. We know. We see with the Chicago Bulls. I know it. See for me as a Cubs fan, right? Can kind of sort of feel the pain that you guys are going through as Sox fans because I'm a Bulls fan and too on top of that. So what I see that's going on to the White Sox, I also see it on the west side for the Chicago Bulls as well, and how everything has been built simply because of the guy that's running the organizations or the guy that owns the organizations in the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Bulls. So in a way, I feel your guys' pain. I mean, I laugh at it because I'm not a fan of it. I'm a North Sider myself, and I'm okay with that. But I feel your pain because I see it 82 games out of the season for the Chicago Bulls. So, like, I get it. And you're right. Nothing really has changed or nothing's really going to change. I think we've all said it. We said it plenty of times, you as a Sox fan and Bulls fan, me as a Bulls fan, that none of this is going to change unless Jerry ends up selling the team. And it's sad to say that, but the dude can make money just by selling both of them separately, and we know where the majority of the money he's going to get is from the Chicago Bulls. Mm-hmm. And then whatever, and I mean, I don't mean to say this like disrespectfully. I really, really don't, but I can't find a good way to say it. But the extra $2-3 billion that he's going to get from the White Sox is basically chump change for what he's going to get for the Chicago Bulls that could be worth up to 8 to almost double digits in the tens of billions of dollars for the Chicago Bulls in that organization. Again, I don't mean to sound like a prick or a dick when I mean to say that, but it's true. It's the more value comes from the Chicago Bulls than it does from the Chicago White Sox.
No, that's absolutely true. I mean, it's not a secret at all. And I mean, we don't, every time we talk about the Sox, we do bring up the Bulls, and it's like rightfully so.
Right.
It's the same owner. Like, we get it, and it's just the same thing, bro. Like we keep saying, like nothing's gonna change until Jerry sells the team. That's not gonna happen. He's too greedy. Fans are still going to go to the stadium. I mean, and like I said a couple weeks ago at the trade deadline, like here we are in the same position. Every year we need pitching, second baseman, outfielder. It looks like another coach, but they're going to keep Pedro. I don't see Pedro getting fired at all.
I don't see him either.
He's probably going to finish out his contract. I mean, now that they started to trade away players, I mean, I'd hate to see it, but Cease might be available for trade in the winter.
I mean,
I'd probably cry.
To be honest with you, man, I said it before, and I said it right before the trade deadline. If there's an opportunity to blow this team up, it's an all-time low, and it's getting lower as the season goes on. It's getting lower after all these speculations, and hell, even the value of Tim Anderson before he got knocked out was as low. Now that he got knocked out, he's still with the team, and everything that's been happening.
Got knocked out twice, apparently.
He right. His value is even lower than that. I mean, they can say whatever they want about batting title and this and that. But at the same time, he's going to be north of 30, and his contract is as friendly as it can be. But to come in with the baggage, that's another story. Bobby goes on to say, realistically, even if Han were to be fired, that's not going to change the culture in the front offense because Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't want to spend, and Kenny Williams is his pet, so he's an extension of Reinsdorf to derail anything good. I, I mean, that's the same way how we felt about Garden Pax and Jerry Reinsdorf with the Chicago Bulls. So
Okay, Kenny should have been gone so long ago, bro.
I agree
It's
with you
so
100%.
frustrating.
It's crazy, like you said, the loyalty. It's
The loyalty
it's
for what? What does he
it.
bring you?
I mean, look,
What does he
it's
want
great to
you?
be
You know,
loyal.
it's a business. Like, what have you done for me lately? What you know what I'm saying? That's the mentality we need to have. But
One hundred
we, like you
percent.
said, we've seen it with the Bulls. I mean, I think the Bulls got really lucky when they hired Tibbs. He's a good ass coach.
Can we go further back in Derrick Rose? A little further back.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. But as far as I'm looking at just managers,
Okay. Okay.
because after Tibbs, it was straight shit show, dog years, despite Rose's injuries, you know, the what ifs. But once Tibbs left, it was what's his name, Fred Hoiberg.
Fred
But
Hoiberg.
Fred Hoiberg's hire for the that they did it for the Bulls is what they've been doing for the Sox. It's so that's why, as a Bulls fan, you understand it. Like this Pedro hire
Yeah.
is literally a Fred Hoiberg hire.
But you know what? I'll give you this one. The Fred Hoiberg hiring wasn't like Tony La Russa esque. It's what they
No,
said. It's mainly more. It's
it
mainly more of what they said after they hired Fred Hoiberg, that they're going to get young and athletic, and they're going to bring this new fresh roster to Fred Hoiberg's system, and they end up in going and getting Dwayne Wade and Rajon Rondo. That was their
terrible.
young and athletic, and that's where I thought that they failed. Me personally, Hoiberg, whatever you feel about Fred Hoiberg, feel about Fred Hoiberg. But I think from the start, from the get go, for them getting those two players, and I forgot who else they got to on top of that. It wasn't even young or athletic anything at all. Like those are the players that they got. Granted, they had a great first season and whatnot. They were like a game or two from eliminating the Boston Celtics after Rajon Rondo got hurt. Whatever the case may be, I really don't care. But he did what he did with those players, and those players, the Jimmy Butler, you talking about Jimmy Butler, Rajon Rondo, you talking about Joakim Noah, you still talking about Dwayne Wade, four big guys with egos on a guy who's first year head coach. It wasn't going to work well.
Right.
So again, the Fred Hoiberg situation, I think they did him a disservice and they messed him up from the get go. And I think that's where the fault, like the difference is kind of the similarity, different type of thing right there, as where for Tony La Russa and everybody else in the organization, it's like they set these players up to fail with the wrong manager. And Bobby goes and said, it's the truth. Jerry Reinsdorf is the common denominator. The Bulls slash Sox mirror images and of how they are ran, and the results show it. And that's 100%. And it's funny every time we go, and it's crazy. You're right. You said a great point that every time we talk to Chicago White Sox, the Chicago Bulls come in and we talk about it because, like Bobby say, they mirror how both of them are ran as an organization, and the product shows on the court and on the field, which is, hey, look at that La Toxica showing up in here. But yeah, man, it just they marry each other. It's crazy. It's scary and it's sad because as for you, I mean, I'm only hurt on half of the side. You're hurt full around, okay? You're hurt full around, bro. I'm only hurt half of the side, and that's the red and black side, boy. I mean, it's your Bobby's right, man. It's crazy how they mirror each other to the T to this day. Bad contracts, Zach Levine and Andrew Benintendi, Johan Moncada, bad contracts, bad coaching, and Fred Hoiberg and damn who and I mean Billy Donovan still has time. I think he
Time
has a
out,
little
time
bit
out,
more
time
time.
out, time out. You can't say that Johan, you know, was a bad contract. Eloy Jimenez, I get that you paid them before they played, but at the time, we had a nucleus during a championship window, so it was kind of smart to pay these guys versus what we saw happen with the Cubs. You know, they couldn't afford to keep the nucleus together, and they had to blow it up. But then Jerry being Jerry, you know, Kenny being Kenny, we fucked it up with, you know, getting the wrong manager. But I think that part was a smart move, especially now. Like if you trade away those guys, they have somewhat of team friendly contracts compared to what stars are going for now or
That's
getting
100%
paid
true.
now. So
I will
it's
agree with you
not
on
the
that one.
contracts. I will say like okay, yeah, it's a little bit of entitlement for somebody to get paid before even playing. Yohan Moncada's making 24 next year. He shouldn't be as much as that's my boy. He should probably make maybe the same as the number on his jersey to 10. That's what he should be getting paid next year, if that. That's the highest he should be paid. But that's my boy still. But at the time we signed him, like, it was a smart move. And then even then, like, because dude, it's a typical Chicago curse, man. Let them trade away those guys, and they're gonna fucking shine somewhere else. I mean, look what Lance Lynn is doing with the Dodgers. Phenomenal. Joe Kelly with the Dodgers. What? Like, fuck you, Joe Kelly. But I'm just saying, like, if we were to see Eloy,
Luis Robert, TA.
If Eloy, Luis Robert, TA, because Luis is already shining here. But let's look at the guys that are struggling. They can't stay healthy. They got all this potential. Still young enough, so like it's kind of toxic hanging on to them. It's like that one ex that comes around during the holidays and it's family time, but then you know what I'm saying. And it's like there's still a potential, which is why we keep you around. But if they go somewhere else, they're gonna shine. Like you're gonna see the Yohan that was the
number one prospect.
Number one prospect that we got rid of sale for. You're gonna see the Eloy that the Cubs fans, were pissed about when they first traded
100%.
That summer of Eloy, that 2019 Yohan Moncada, it's gonna happen. It's like it's toxic mentality. I mean, lack of a better time. I mean, everybody says toxic nowadays. That's how we describe shit now. But it's like for us to want to hold on to them. Us is me. I'm definitely us. To want to hold on to Yohan and Eloy and TA and Luis. To hold on to those core guys just because of their potential and the flashes of, fucking talent that they show us, all-star potential talent, that's why we want to keep them around and don't want to get rid of them because we know, bro. They go somewhere else.
It's still there.
Do better. You know what I mean?
I hear you 100% because I felt the same way when they traded Rizzo. Rizzo still has performed. He's been performing. Kyle Schwarber has been performing.
I did not like him going to the Yankees. I didn't like that.
I cried. I mean, I didn't either. I wanted him to stay. I think he, out of everybody, out of all the players that had left, he was the one that should have stayed, right? Being Mr. Cub, but it is what it is. I hated him going to the Yankees. I didn't hate him. I hated that they traded him to the Yankees.
Right.
And my brother got the last laugh of him being a Yankees fan. And I promised I texted him like, bro, just take care of his ass. And I mean, he's been performing ever since he went to New York. Him and Kyle Schwarber are the only two that have been performing out of all of them that had left. So
the only one that hasn't, I mean, okay, I'm gonna be that guy, but Baez, I expect the Baez to be Baez is in Detroit.
100%.
I think it's very unfortunate what Chris Bryant has, the career he's had since he's left the Cubs. That's been pretty sad.
The career that he has after he won the World Series and MVP. Yeah. After that, like he hasn't been healthy at all. Whatever he had here in Chicago just kept lingering.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago got the best out of him.
We got the best out of Javi and out of Chris Bryant, bro.
That's true.
And then Kyle and Anthony just still shined afterwards. Bobby here, kind of the last one before we head out. Actually, Hoiberg and La Russa, believe it or not, are not in the same result because neither were interviewed due to Jerry Reinsdorf chose them and gave them their jobs. Another slap in the face of the fans. They should have never let Ricky go. I think, but it was time for Thibodeau to go. I think it really was time for him to go.
I love Tibbs, man.
I mean, we all do. We all have this love and affection for Derrick Rose, for Joakim Noah, for Taj Gibson, for Jimmy Butler, for Tom Thibodeau. Like, there's these players that we can name on top of our heads just like this, how I just did, and have a love and affection for them, right, because of what they brought to Chicago in the exciting times. But as a coach and as what he brought to the table, man, there was no more going through. I think Thibodeau just ran his course here in Chicago, just like Lovey did in Chicago, although I think he needed another year with the Bears, but that's just me personally. And instead of getting Mark Trestman, but another podcast for another day. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how the fall from grace from the White Sox just all it happened in a short period amount of time.
The window's done. The window's done.
The window's shut.
The window's shut. We had the potential to be a dynasty, and it never happened. I mean,
I love you, John, and I know your name is Johnny Blasphemy, bro, but Dynasty? Come on now, man. I could say that. We had the potential for us to be a dynasty, but we never took that next step. You though,
y'all never lived up to the dynasty potential. And I'm saying we had at least, we had a core. I mean, shit. I told you guys we should have hired Bruce Bochy.
I would have agreed with you 100%. I would agree with anybody outside of Tony La Russa. Yeah. What I tell you, Alex Cora, even though he got caught cheating.
That's the thing. You know what? And I think that if that never happened, I think Cora would have came here.
What was that? What was the manager for the Astros?
Hinch.
What's his name?
Hinch? No.
Hinch? AJ Hinch?
AJ Hinch. Who else somebody else got suspended. There was 3 coaches that got suspended.
Yeah. But those were the main 2 that I know for sure. The Astros manager and also because I think AJ Hinch is with the Tigers, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, yeah, but Cora and AJ Hinch were.
Those were the 2.
I think AJ Hinch was in line because Cora was already with Boston, I believe.
Yep.
But even this year, Bruce Bochy was available, and we didn't go get him.
We appreciate you, Bobby, for tuning into the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in every week, too, as well, and follow us on all our social media platforms. Not just him, but everybody else, too. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, under the Star 6 Media Productions on all our social media platforms. 3.5 games out, man. Favorable schedule for my Cubbies. 2 against the White Sox, and then we have... I forgot. I think we got the Pirates somewhere in between. I know the Royals. I think we also have somewhere in there too as well. 3.5. A half game out of the wild card. 3.5 out of the NL Central. Next week, man. I'm gonna put a guarantee on this, man, that before September starts, the Cubs are gonna be first place in the NL Central.
Happen.
Before September starts. I'm gonna say it. I'm putting it right now.
And then they're not even gonna make the playoffs.
That's another story for another conversation for another podcast here on the JCA Sports Podcast. Thank you, Jonathan, for hopping on. Johnny Blasphemy, Johnny Parlay, Johnny Know-It-All, I guess, man. Johnny Heartbroken. Johnny Heartbreak.
Hey, real quick, though, I want to give a birthday shout out to Luz because her birthday's Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, Luz. I'm going to wait to see you on Saturday. Happy birthday, Luz. Happy birthday, Luz. And also, happy birthday to our barber. His birthday was yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, happy birthday to Don Magico, Don Magic. Thank you very much for the thank you very much for the haircuts. I really appreciate you. I'll see you next week, buddy. I think my haircut appointment is next week.
I got him Saturday, right before the party.
I don't know. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the JCA Sports Podcast. We appreciate you. We appreciate Bobby, John, Jose. I think I saw him that he watched Caesar for sure for chiming in. CP, everybody.
Is there?
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for hopping on. We will be back maybe this week. I don't know. Maybe next week. We'll see. We'll keep you posted. Just make sure you follow us on the John Konavi Facebook page and follow us our posts. See what we got in store for you guys, and make sure you guys follow us on all the social media platforms. For myself, Eric Avila, my boy, Johnny Blasphemy right there. Thank you very much for hopping on. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace. Oh, wrong button.